You know you want to be like that's just too difficult. I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Just give up. What do you want to do that for anyway? We're going to be furious with you. You know you want to be like that's just too difficult. Wherever I went, I was interrupted. I was hearing things that sometimes were very unpleasant or very just constant, persistent interruptions, and I couldn't think about things without feeling like I was always fighting with my head, which was not doing the things I wanted it to do. It was hard to go somewhere and be conscious that perhaps you were coming across a bit strange, and to be exposed like that at the same time as finding the whole process just very challenging, and it's distressing in itself without having to. Yeah, just the whole experience was quite traumatic actually. Just doing something as simple as going shopping.
Hello. Hi, Kirsty. Good to see you. Take a seat. Thank you. So, how are things? Sort of 2 or 3 weeks, but actually the stress of, because I've been having long conversations with the antidepressants as a teleproud, because you understand or see how much significantly worse is to take professional care rather than leaning on
She
you.
has just... No, fortunately not. I'm very happy to.
It's probably playing a little bit on your mind.
This really shows you that you're doing quite well on the prediction for control. Help the diagnosis so that, for example, you can differentiate between different clusters just by the fact you've got just to diagnose it rather than differentiate. But in this case, we've got quite a few. So it does help because it reduces the variation in your and then you can start to treat them accordingly. And also,
at the moment, the diagnosis of schizophrenia is still based on a patient interview. It's just asking questions: do you hear voices, or do you believe that people are out to get you? If someone doesn't tell you yes to these answers, you will have no idea. You can't, there's no brain imaging test or anything to distinguish whether someone has schizophrenia or is just a little bit strange or odd. I think this test would take away a lot of stigma from patients, because at the moment the problem is with psychiatric disorders, we believe it's all in the mind, and it's something which is quite abstract. But if a patient can also see in the blood, you know, some abnormality, you can relate to it in the real world. And also the capability of the test, which we have some indication that it normalizes with proper treatment, you can see that you're getting better.
And then go for the sample to do it, change it.
Persons.
Well, I mean,
Cells from different persons.
It just depends how you set the experiment up. I mean, at the moment, this is just a.
Well, is there any reason?
Would be a good example to say, okay, we see that the red drug response, so it's
I think an early diagnosis would have made a massive difference to me if someone could have persuaded me to accept it. Certainly, there would have been no need for the black, bleak, well, maybe there would have been some black, bleak days, but I think if I'd been able to access the treatment, it wouldn't have had to have been as bad as it got for me. The fear, the frustration, the anger, the sense of judgment that you place on yourself because you're not doing all the things that perhaps you might have been expected to do growing up, that life is a struggle and at times a great struggle. I think if I'd had that diagnosis, I would have been able to equip myself better and not had to have as many hurdles along the way. And I think for some people, again, if you can encourage people to accept a diagnosis or at least communicate it to the people around them, it's probably life-saving. No, I'll be all right, I think. I'll put them in here, thanks. Thank you. Okay, thanks.